Welcome back to another episode of Learning is Easy with Teacher Fish. Today's lesson video will focus on the third main section of a research report, called the reference section. Before we start, be sure that you are subscribed to the channel for updates of new English lesson videos. And so, the reference section of your research report is comprised of two subsections. The references are also known as bibliography, and the appendix or appendices. Note that the bibliography is where you are supposed to list down all the sources of information you used in your report, while the appendix is the section where the responses to research questions and tape scripts are written. When writing the bibliography section of a research report, the APA or American Psychological Association style is commonly used. The key components include author's name or names, publication year, title of the work, publisher or source. Include the DOI or URL, if applicable. As for the general format, here are a few things to remember. Use a hanging indent. The first line is flushed on the left, and subsequent lines are indented. Alphabetize by the author's last names. If there is no author, alphabetize by the first significant word in the title, ignoring a, n, or the. Double space the entire bibliography. Use sentence case. Capitalize only the first word of the title, subtitle, and proper nouns. Now, for the author's name, you should get his or her full name and should be in this format. Last name first, followed by the first initials. So if the name of the author is Jorik S. de Ungria, it should reflect on the bibliography as de Ungria, J.S. However, if there are more than one author, separate their names with a comma, and use an ampersand before the name of the last author. For example, if there are two authors, let's say Jorik S. de Ungria and Miguel P. Grande, write the name of the first author following the format we learned just a while ago. So it would be, de Ungria, J.S. then a comma, and ampersand before the name of the second author. So it will look like this. De Ungria J.S., and Grande, M.P. Now for resources that are authored by more than two individuals, just follow the same format as the two authored resources, but do not forget to use a comma and ampersand before the last name. Assuming that the third author is named Elena T. Rio, then it should look in the bibliography as de Ungria, J.S., Grande, M.P., and Rio, E.T. Finally, if there is no available information about the author, use the title of the resource instead in replacement of the author's name. The author's name is followed by the year of publication. It is enclosed in a parenthesis and followed by a period when written in the bibliography section. For instance, if the book or journal you used as reference was published in 1999, then it should reflect on the bibliography as 1999. However, if the resource is from the web or web page, include the full date in this format, year, month, day. So it should look like this. 1999, October 19th. And so, the next thing to write is the title of the reference material you used in your research. There are two important things to remember when writing the title of the work. Firstly, use the sentence case. That means to capitalize the first words and nouns only. Next is to italicize book and journal titles, but do not italicize article titles or web page titles, and of course, end with a period. Here are some examples. For book chapters, the format should be the author's name, then the year of publication still enclosed in a parenthesis and followed by a period. Next is the title of the chapter. Still separated by a period, the title of the chapter is followed by the word, in, which is capitalized, then the name of the editor. Now you have to be careful in writing the editor's name. Unlike the author's name at the start of your reference, the editor's name does not begin with the last name. So if the editor's name is Jorik de Ungria, then it should be written as J. de Ungria. The editor's name is followed by the acronym ED, enclosed in a parenthesis which stands for editor, then a comma before the title of the book, which should be italicized. Similarly, enclosed in parenthesis are the page numbers or coverage, then a period. There are a few things to remember when writing the publisher or source as the last entry of your reference. Publisher of books should be written as it is. What I mean is not in bold and not italicized, and should end with a period. Whereas, for resources coming from journals, the publisher or source should be italicized, then a comma before the volume. Next, enclosed in a parenthesis is the issue, followed again by a comma. Finally, the page range, then a period. Note also that the issue number and the page range are not italicized. If the source is a journal from the internet, copy and paste the DOI or URL after the page range. For resources from web pages, the publisher or source must be italicized, then followed by a period. Then the URL or link should be copied and pasted at the end of the citation. Now, let us look at actual samples of resources. Alright, so that is how we write the bibliography section of a research report. But we are not done yet, because there is another subsection in the reference which is called the appendix or appendices. Take note that this section of your research report isn't necessary, but can be useful in providing additional information. The appendix provides supplementary material that supports the primary text but is too detailed or complex for inclusion in the main body of the research report. They may consist of unprocessed data, surveys, tables, or graphical representations. Through this section, readers are able to validate or further explore the details of your research. It also allows transparency in presenting data. In addition, it makes the main report concise by redirecting lengthy materials into the appendices section. We will now examine the standard structure of the appendixes part in your research report. Initially, with respect to labeling, use the title or label, appendix. In the event of many appendices, designate each as Appendix A, Appendix B, etc. Furthermore, note that each appendix starts on a new page. As for the title, provide a descriptive title for each appendix and place the label or title at the top center of the page, and should be written in bold. Here are some examples. Moving on, let us talk about the order. Appendices must be arranged in the sequence in which they are referenced in the research report. Similarly, reference them in the main body using expressions such as, see Appendix A, or, refer to Appendices B and C for more information. As for the page number, continue with the numbering from the main body section and avoid restarting the page numbering. For the font, use the same font style and size you used in the other sections of the report. For example, Times Roman with 12 as its size. For spacing, be uniform again with the other sections of the report. Double spacing is mentioned in my other lesson videos about writing a research report. Before we end the lesson video, let us have some final reminders about the appendix of your research report. First, be sure that each appendix is labeled correctly and titled descriptively. Second, make sure that all appendices are mentioned in the main text. Next, content is formatted consistently with APA guidelines. Finally, be sure that appendices are listed in the correct order in the main text, and appear in the same sequence in the document. So there, the third and last lesson video about how a research report is written. I hope that our three-part video gave you a good grasp on how you should write your research report. Please press like and be sure that you are already subscribed to the channel for more English lesson videos. Always remember, writing a research report is not difficult, if you know what to do. With that, see you on the next episode of Learning is Easy with Teacher Fish.